can get any photos or peek in. You know, so they're really over there just going nuts trying to climb the fences and what have you. And during that whole time, I got to sit there and hang out with a couple of cool guys like Derek Fisher from the Lakers. I was there when Draymond Green and Kevin Durant walked through. They're both, you know, big professional basketball players. I got to actually help them to their limousines and talk to them for a moment. So, I mean, sometimes you just never know what happens at those events on the night. You meet some interesting characters, you know, and then you get to harass the TMZ guys. And then finally it came over the radio that they needed them to disperse somehow. So me and another guy plotted a plan to walk up to them, and we pretended to be on our radios, and we lied and told them where some very A-list R&B singers were sneaking out a back door with a bunch of men to go to another hotel room or something. And they took the bait and ran down there.
Well, Randle, that's an A+ for cleverness, and Hollywood is a lot of limousines, and my favorite limousine is the Rolls-Royce stretch-out limousine, and up in Hollywood, and they're beauties, but never seen so many limousines in all my life. I suppose it's the same in Las Vegas, you know, if you like watching cars, but that's a good story, Randle, a really good story. I'm going to go to Debra. Debra, your story was 2 seconds long. Do you have a story to share with us that's, you know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, huh? Instead of 10 seconds.
Let's see. What do I have? Everything I have is so notorious, I'm afraid to say anything.
Really?
Come on, go for it.
Okay, my life has been spent on the fringes of notoriety ever since I've been born, and I have no idea why. I am connected to two of the most notorious unsolved murders in this country. I'm just some random woman. Like, how that happened, I to this day can't figure out.
Did you ever have excuse me for interrupting, did you ever have anybody look at your astrology?
I've had my chart done a few times, but nothing serious, right?
Huh. Yeah, that sort of thing would show up in your, you know, historically, Mary Queen of Scots. When you look at her chart, or you look at Queen Elizabeth's chart, or you look at Anne Boleyn's chart, you really get a real feeling for a lot of power. So it's interesting. You've said that. So let's hear the story. I'm going to sit back and listen to your story. I'm going to let it wash over me.
What story? I can't talk about those murders.
No?
They're very, very famous. They're very, anything I say. If I was here under a online handle, that would be one thing, but I've got my real name out there. I have a very notorious family on my father's side. Let me put it like that.
Okay. Well, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Are you the real DeFrancos of New York?
This part I will tell you. Okay. My uncle was Stefano Magaddino, and he was the Don of the Mafia in upstate New York and Canada up until the time he died in the mid-'70s.
Wow.
Heavy dude.
Yeah, he was a founding member of the Mafia Commission.
Okay. Well, we want to keep you protected and safe, so I guess you don't have a short story for us. How about you, Janet? Have you got a short story for us?
Give me a topic, and I'll see where my mind goes. It's kind of like name that. Now, what is it? I'll take this category. So give me a category, and I'll see what emerges.
I tell you what. Why don't you share with us a great story about the Gestalt movement that you were part of?
Well, actually, Sasha's a part of that. Let me give you I met Sasha. How I met Sasha? I wanted to go.
How do you spell his last name?
Lessin, Lessin.
Okay,
and
great.
I'm the only Janet Lessin in the world. And I just found another Sasha Lessin. I did my Ancestry.com, and there's only about 500 lessons in the world, Lessin, spelled like that. So that's pretty interesting. So, okay, I'll give you My husband was born in New York, in the Bronx, and when he was 1 year old, his dad moved him to Torrance, California, and he told his family and the whole community that he's Italian, because Lesson's kind of a strange name, right? And his wife learned how to cook all the Italian foods, and he got a job as in a big factory, and he was making these gears or something. And when he got there, he was really an attorney. When he got there, he didn't have any idea what he was doing. But the people that were under him, they had such a comedic personality that they supported his lie, and they let him get away with being the boss, but they were helping him out. So this is what you need to do to get through World War II when you're Jewish. So the reason he thought, Sasha's father thought that Hitler would win, and they would come over and kill all the Jews. So how he had that awareness in the late 30s, or by 1940, I don't know, because I wasn't alive then. But the funny part was when he was 9 years old, and the war was over, and his dad said, "Son, I have to tell you something." "What, Dad?" "We're not Italian. We're Jewish." So this is Torrance, he was born 49. So he goes to school and he says, "Oh, guess what, everybody? I'm Jewish." Next thing he knows, this little Christian girl was chasing him around and yelling, "You killed Jesus!" See, because I guess it was a very unknown, segregated community. So anyway, I always thought that was amusing. And I was talking to somebody earlier about, being attracted. So the moment I met Sasha, I fell in love. The moment, it's like a soul connection. And I wanted to run away because it was so powerful. So maybe you could help with that. Suzanne, why was the attraction, repulsion? What are you getting on a psychic level?
You're so good at tracking, and so are you finished with the question? And I'm going to answer you, right?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So first of all, the connection between the two of you was the fact that you recognized each other's souls. You recognized each other from past lives. The next step is that the family story, when we look at the family story between the two of you, there's parts to your stories that match energetically. And then the next point is that you both had the same ambition. And then the third point, which I think is really, really important, is that it was your desire, your truest desire, was to support him in his work because you felt transformed by his work.
Mhm.
Wow,
so
you're good.
She's really good.
You.
Let me give you part two of this, because this ties in with you, Debra, probably. I don't know. We all tie in with each other. It's interesting to we probably were all souls and said we're going to come down here on Earth. Now we're going to meet, in July of 2020. And we're going to have this next phase. So I find out I'm sitting there in Hollywood at a meeting with his cousin, who is a very famous fashion designer. So there you go, Debra. And she won a couple Oscars for different movies. And I was just like, dumbstruck. I go, oh, this person is really... And so she's telling me all of her involvement in Hollywood. And then I'm finding out all the involvement with my husband's family about... wait, you're popping up on my computer. I just got distracted. Oh, their connection with L&M Tobacco, and apparently they were really connected with the tobacco industry, and they had sugar. So the wealth of the Lessons who came over somewhere, and they were all Jewish on all sides, and Mom's was the her family did the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, which is where they had the big fire. And my grandfather did the Film Projectors Union, and his other grandfather had all these theaters, and this is through the Northeast. So we picked it. We go, wow, his family knew, his grandfather knew my grandfather. They were Masons on both sides, on both of our families. So we're going, I think these Masons are kind of connecting the kids up, right? So my parents, I always thought they were an arranged marriage, and here's me, and I'm in an arranged, and maybe they've got some love fight thing they give you. I don't know if you're familiar with, if somebody's got background noise, maybe you could mute. If you're familiar with the love fight phenomenon, where you meet somebody and you fall instantly in love. But it was orchestrated or intended from, God? From the Illuminati? I don't know. So anyway, that's not a short story, but I'm just connecting the dots because I agree with you. Yes, I had this soul connection, but there's also, these ongoing connections within their families who supposedly didn't know each other, but when we pieced it together in Hollywood. Oh, and then I'm really against smoking, and I'm addicted to sugar, which is very bad for your health. And I'm going, here's my family that made their wealth from these two industries that are very deleterious to the health and well-being of human beings. So it's like, dirty money. Okay, back to somebody else. Thank you for listening.
Oh, good story. Good story. Really good story. Okay.
Thank you.
So, Rich, I think it's back to you.
The story, huh? Okay.
Yeah, yes. Why don't you? I mean, there's so many high-profile weddings that you've done, and you've been such a great, flexible human being about meeting the need for people. People need to have their wedding painted. People have photographs done of their weddings, and it's great. But a wedding portrait, a portrait of their wedding day, which is done on that day, and it's all finished by the time the event is over. That wedding is finished. That wedding painting is finished, and the coordinator takes and hangs it up in the honeymoon suite, and they see your painting of their day of getting married.
Wow.
Isn't that a great idea?
That's a story in itself. That really goes on. Can you believe that? So explain that. How did you get into that? That's amazing to me. I'm interested in your story. Also, how did you meet Suzanne? Let's do that one, too.
Okay.
I'm going to go back on mute.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
The wedding.
The weddings. Okay, the weddings, that began, my style has always been do things real quick. And I base my stuff sort of like on journalism, like this is your day, this is your moment. And so even when I was in my practice stages, I would do a still life, and I'd take it in. I was working at a pizza parlor, and I'd bring it in and hang it up every night. I'd get one done every night, a painting. And people could tell. They go, oh, you're happy or this or that, but just by looking at what I painted that day. So the style was always sort of like journalistic. And just get it done, get your emotions out, get your feelings out, and then go on to the next one. And so me and Suzanne, we met at the Cafe Tutu Tango in Orange, California, back in
I know that place.
You do?
Who's that?
I love that place.
Who's that?
I know. It was iconic. Everybody knew about it.
Is that Debra or Janet? Who is that?
That is me. I lived in Southern California for 30 years.
Okay.
Really?
And
yeah.
I opened Cafe Tutu Tango at the Block at Orange, and then I opened the other location at the Universal City Walk.
We used to go to the Tutu Tango at the Block of Orange like every weekend for like a whole year.
Oh my
no
God,
kidding.
we know you then. Oh my God.
Yeah, we know you.
We know you then. There's no way we don't know you because we were there. I started in 98. Rich started in 99, and we were there when they closed in February of 2019.
Yeah. I love that place. They're food.
Yeah, that's funny.
The food was always good. They always had entertainment. I met a bunch of psychics going through there. That's why I know Suzanne's the best. And did musicians and all sorts of entertainment. And they had artists there. So the artists were painting as part of the theme and part of the atmosphere. And one night, I was just painting the restaurant. Every night I had to come up with an idea, so I'd paint the restaurant, people eating and drinking. And then a friend and a bartender goes, "Hey, could you do that